Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show. Let me know, Jack. Good? All right. Ladies and gents, Botter Milligan here at Collective Con. I am standing beside the man who has voiced some of my favorite and probably your favorite cartoon characters, including but not limited to Philip J. Fry, Doug, Bugs Bunny, Stimpy, and a whole slew of others. I'm talking about the incomparable Mr. Billy West. Mr. West, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
How's your Collective Con experience been? How's your whole weekend been?
I'm not bleeding from any holes, so I must be doing okay.
That's a good first sign right there, all right? No bleeding of holes, successful Collective Con. I read I overheard you while I was waiting for you in line here that you said Futurama has been your favorite show that you've done, and I just listed a fraction of your very prestigious resume, and I'm curious, what makes Futurama stand out from all the different properties and projects you've worked on?
Well, number one, it's a Matt Groening show, and his sensibilities are tried and true and visionary and always on target. And, you know, I was proud to be working with the guy. And it's the writing. The writing of the show is just so clever and a different kind of funny, you know? Yeah.
Speaking about Matt Groening, I'm curious, are you just a big fan of The Simpsons?
I'm not as big of a fan of The Simpsons as I am of Futurama. I just never watched a lot of television, to tell you the truth. I've gone whole years without watching TV or seeing movies. I try to stay pure, you know.
And I mean, with your credentials, I imagine, you know, it's a full-time job being you.
Yeah.
One thing that I was really fascinated in learning as I was going, you know, preparing for this interview was your musical prowess and your band, you know, being a guitarist and your band, Billy West in the Grief Counselors, correct?
Yes.
Do you ever tap into your voice acting, you know, part of your mind for music, or maybe vice versa? How do the two different artistic worlds like inform each other?
Well, you know, I mean, I was a guitar player for years and years, and I made a living playing music, and I sang. The voice thing came naturally, you know, from performing. And I did some stand-up comedy for a while. Nobody told me you had to have an act, and I used to go up there and just do stuff, you know. Sometimes it'd be great, other times it'd be horrifying, but they are interconnected. Yeah.
And last question for you, Mr. West, and I think you're the perfect person to answer this. You know, considering that there's probably a lot of aspiring voice actors and people that want to be the next Billy West, what piece of advice would you give to someone that's wanting to get into the career, but specifically maybe a piece of advice that you wish you would have, you know, had going into the career that maybe would have made your life a lot easier?
I would, you know, stay passionate, stay inspired. Inspiration is tough to come by sometimes. So you have to like go wander around, go downtown, when everything is closed on a Sunday or something, and just wander around and see where the wind blows you. I used to do that just out of curiosity. Wonder what's going to go on today, and you find yourself in interesting situations because you didn't plan on it. Also, staying passionate and staying inspired. Yeah. Also, we're saving a seat for you, if that means anything. That's what somebody told me when I started out.
Wow.
I said, I can't believe I'm in the room working with you guys. I was a kid when I heard you. And guy said, well, where you been? We've been saving a seat for you. So
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your honesty, and thank you for your time, Mr. West.
thank you very much.
Awesome. Ladies and gents, Billy West. Mike, Jack, you got to make sure you get a shot of the kicks, though, man.
Yeah, see, we got the tall thing going on.
Yeah. But bow! Blow. Don't forget the other foot, too. Cha-ching, the money shot.
Oh, wait.
Shot. All right. You're stunting too hard. All right?
Yeah. I got that flavor, though. The old man's got the flavor. You can't mess with me. I'm going
He's got the
Jersey
flavor.
style. It's not. It's gone.
Flavor in your ear.
Huh?
Hey, my dad would really like you.
Yeah, see, that's
He's from
all right.
Jersey City as well.
Oh, there you go. Oh, well, I'm from Jersey, but Jersey City, that's hardcore. That you get an elbow. For that.
All right. Everyone, Botter Milligan here at Collective Con alongside Mr. John DiMaggio, a.k.a. the voice behind your favorite beer-guzzling robot and cartoon dog, among others, all right? I mean, the resume, if I was to go through his resume, I'd be here all day. But I just want to say, John, thank you so much for taking time.
Oh, you're welcome.
How is your Collective Con experience going so far?
So far, so good. Nobody's, tried to cut me or anything. So, I hear people are crazy in Jacksonville. No, I'm kidding. It's been great. It's been wonderful. Everybody's really nice here. And, it's nice. It's nice for a young convention to get this many people. It's pretty cool. I like seeing that, and it's a great. These conventions are great because everybody gets to come out and do their own thing. So I appreciate that, and I'm all for that. So and people like the stuff that I do, and I like there's stuff here that I like. So it's just It's always a fun time.
Have you had a chance to get a chance to explore the floor?
I mean, before and after, when everybody's not really here, I can kind of wander through and just check stuff out. But yeah, there's always something. There's always a T-shirt. You're like, oh, that's really great. There's always something that you can find at a convention. But mostly it's people that are, all these people are into a lot of the same stuff. So it's always a good time, So the next time you're in town in Jacksonville, come on down to Collective Con. You'll have a great time. It's going to be great. Look at all the fabulous people here. We're having a good time. Don't you forget it. I don't know why I snapped into the guy. That's,
Jack, make sure we isolate that one, right?
No, absolutely. 100%.
John, it sounds like you are a pro when it comes to conventions. I was curious, though, because I'm sure, all day, all weekend, you probably had, people just fanning out, getting a chance to meet you, crediting you for all the different voices. Have you ever had a fanboy experience yourself, meeting an idol or a fellow colleague or someone you admire?
It's always nice to meet people, to meet other folks. I met John Cusack once. I was just like, oh, man. Oh, just say anything. I'm just like, oh, God, better off dead. Oh, just. But you get to run into folks that are really cool, and you make friends with folks, and then sometimes you come to these and you have your friends are here already, so it's pretty cool. There's always someone to just be like, oh, who's a guest this time, So, but yeah, it's always fun, and it's and I love coming to these. It's great because when you're in the booth or when you're behind the you're in front of the camera. It's not often you get to hear this, hey, you did all right, or a big laugh or whatever, So it's always nice to come and show up and hear the laugh or get to hear the 2 or 3 claps, the 2 or 3 awkward claps that you're due, because you can't, not a round of applause, just a solid clap.
John, so I was thinking about, I was going through your resume, your list, your IMDb, and I mean, I might have snoozed a little bit, but I was active. No, it was awesome. And your video game credits, man, obviously Gears of War, Halo, Destiny. I mean, the list goes on. I was curious. Are you a video game? Are you a gamer yourself?
I play video games. I mean, I like to play the video games that I'm in, which
What's
is
the last one? Oh,
just kind of narcissistic, but I've loved the Gears of War games. I'm attached. I'm Gear for life, but I love playing particular video games. As a matter of fact, the guy that played the lead in Red Dead Redemption 2, I figured out who he was like mid-con, and I was like, oh man, I'm trying to figure out your voice. I'm like, I knew you, dude. It was pretty funny, but yeah, I love playing games as long as it doesn't take too long. Because if it takes too long, then you get in trouble with the wife.
Yeah,
nobody needs that. Nobody needs that trouble.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
That's right.
All right, one last question for you, John. Probably one thing that really stuck out to me, new for me at least, you executive produced a documentary called "I Know That Voice."
That's right.
Backstage VIP. Oh, there we go. The shameless plugs. My man is prepared. All right.
There it is.
So
since you're watching it, you can get it on Prime. You can get it on Amazon Prime, and I think maybe even iTunes. I'm not sure, but you look for it online. I think you can get it on YouTube. Actually,
there we go.
You'll have to pay for it on YouTube. Don't go just finding the link and just watching it on YouTube. Why don't you pay for the movie, for crying out loud?
Support the damn movie.
Yeah,
But I understand it was meant to be like a behind the scene, look into the lives of voice actors. And I was curious if you could share, right now, what is, what's something that you wish more people knew about, the world of voice acting, or maybe like a common misconception?
Tara Strong has serious gas problems.
Well, there goes our Tara Strong appearance next year.
No, she's kidding. No, she's fine. Tara Strong does not have gas. I'm the one who has gas that usually blames it on Tara.
I've been holding my breath this whole time.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. No, I don't know. What's something that's... I mean, we're all just trying to, we're all just trying to work. We're all just trying to get a gig. And some of us are more fortunate than others. But we all love it. There's a lot of smiles behind it. A lot of people that are just like in a good place, good energy. And we work hard. People in the booth, we work hard. Yeah.
Speaking of working hard and trying to get a gig, I got one more question for you. And this is for all the aspiring voice actors that want to be the next John DiMaggio. If you could give a piece of advice to those aspiring, voice actors, specifically maybe a piece of advice that you wish you would have received early on in your career that would have made life a lot easier breaking in, what would that be?
Learn a trade. Go to trade school. Get a job as a plumber. I don't know, carpenter. Something like that, some good regular job where you 5 years in, you're already making $100,000.
401k retirement.
No, you forget it. Just, totally. No, you know what? First of all, I tell young actors, just make rent, which is basically just like, you create time for your art, for your passion, but you also make rent. You make money to pay rent, to pay your way. And if you can make rent, the rest is gravy. So that's what I say. I tell people to make rent. Tell young actors, just make rent. Just be concerned about making rent, and then everything else will come to you. You just work hard at it. When you work on your craft, make the work play so that you can play hard. And that's it.
That's some real stuff. Thank you for your honesty. John, thank you so much for your time.
All right.
Ladies and gents, John DiMaggio.
I got to get back to doing nothing. Going on break.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gents, Botter Milligan here at Collective Con, standing beside yet another voice acting icon. I'm talking about the man who has voiced some of my favorite and your favorite cartoon characters, including but not limited to Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Darkwing Duck, Tasmanian Devil. The list goes on and on. Ladies and gents, I'm talking about the incomparable Jim Cummings. Jim, how are you doing today?
I didn't know I was incomparable. I thought I was pretty comped up. Yeah.
I had a few adjectives to describe you, but I figured incomparable. With a list of almost 400 credits plus 400 plus some credits to your name, I'm asking you to do the impossible and hone in on maybe one or two that really might be a little more special than the others.
Yeah, well, Pooh and Tigger are in their own category because they're as sweet as honey. And, and I love Darkwing Duck. You gotta love Darkwing Duck. Who doesn't love? And then the anti-Pooh, of course, Taz. And one of my big-time favorites is Ray from Princess and the Frog. And definitely, absolutely, Hondo Ohnaka, Star Wars. Little franchise you might have heard of.
I think I recall that. So, Jim, one of the interesting things I found out as I'm preparing for this interview is that you were one of the only, if not only, original voice actor from the TMNT series to return back for the 2007 animated film. And I'm curious, have you seen the trailer for the new animated TMNT film coming out, Mutant Mayhem, or thoughts on that?
No, because I'm not in it, so who cares?
You're right. It is missing a big heaping of you on that film. But, I mean, thoughts in general, I guess.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
One more question for you, considering that there's probably a lot of aspiring voice actors that want to be the next Jim Cummings that are inspired by your career. Do you have any words of wisdom to those aspiring voice actors, maybe specifically advice that you wish that you would have received early on in your career?
Well, know what you want to do. Aim, have a clear focus. And whenever I would come up with a character, now if it's an established one, you want to sound just like him and add to that. So that one's an easy one. But as far as coming up with new characters, use your imagination. And like, for instance, Hondo Ohnaka, I've always said he's a combination of Charles Bronson and Yul Brynner in my head. So mix and match like that. Yeah, and the fact is, if you do a perfect impression of someone famous, hold on to it. You never know. You might be able to use it. If you do a terrible impression of someone very famous, can't even tell who it is, you got a new character. And if you do a perfect impression of somebody that nobody knows, like speaking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Leatherhead was I was a bad guy in the originals, and that was a dead-on impression of my first tugboat captain when I was a deckhand on the Mississippi River. That's just how he sounded. That was the way he spoke. So I stole him, and I often wondered if his grandkids are going, "Hey, Grandpa, you know this alligator here?" So the little tricks of the trade.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing your time as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gents, Jim Cummings.